Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm your host, Bumps in the Night, and I am joined with my co-host, Josh Reviews Incorporated. And you were going to tell me about a paranormal experience you had, if I remember correctly. Yes.
Yes, I was.
So please
You had me
enlighten
when I was
us.
11 years old. It's, I think, was a scary experience I've ever had to date. It's my encounter with the BEKs, or Black Eyed Kids.
Okay.
If you want to do some information, I can give you some real quick information on BEKs if people don't know what they are.
Sure. Why don't you break it down for the audience who don't know?
Basically, BEKs are children, look like children, but for some reason or another, they're like changelings in a way. They're linked to fairies. Some think they're other dimensional beings. Some say they're aliens. No one really knows what they are. What we all know is that you let them into your home, you're probably not going to be seen from again.
That is scary.
Obviously, characteristics is they look like children because they play on the innocence that children are innocent. They usually wear gray, dark hoodies. Hoodies always going over their face. And let's get into this. I'll give it the encounter.
The hoodies, though, the hoodies are the attempt to hide the eyes, right? The whole idea is to guise you. That...
Yes, the eyes. The eyes are, I think, the last resort. The eyes, if they didn't let me, if you don't let them in for the first, the hypnotizing, or them being kids, obviously, the eyes are the last resort.
So it sounds like whatever you do, don't look in those eyes.
Is to make it's like sucker place. You keep looking into the deep of their eyes. To the point where you're just gonna have no control over what you do.
You're giving me goosebumps here. All right, tell me the story. Tell us the story.
Okay, so when I was 11 years old, my sister was just been born, and I was sitting. I remember clearly it was a Friday night. I was sitting in my family room in Chicago, Illinois, watching sci-fi horror movie marathons. Now, to be honest, we're here with you all. Sci-fi can have pretty good horror films, original horror films when they want to be. Not A ones, but they're pretty much good B ones. Anyways.
Yeah, definitely.
My dad at the time, like he always did, would work in the city, so he had to take a train in the morning and train back at night. He would get back around 6 and stay at this fair bar with his friends, Gale Street, until 11 or 12, until wherever he wanted to go home, really. And my mom, this time after my sister was born, she went out with her friends a lot. So I was home by myself, my brother, my sister, my aunt, my grandmother, and my uncle. They were both asleep on the couch, and I was the only one really awake. I remember it was 10:45 to be exact. I was watching, I forgot what the movie was, but I do remember I heard a knock at the door. Not that my grandmother or my uncle could hear, enough that I could hear. And as I was walking to the door, I remember thinking to myself, who's knocking at my door at 10:45 at night?
Yeah, it's late. Right? That's kind of creepy.
I opened the door, and the way the door was set up in my old house was the front door. We had this big ass wooden with a kind of stained glass door, window, and then you open that up, and then you have a screen door. A big door, but never open up the screen door. And when I look out, I see two kids. One to be 14, and one to be around close to my age, 8, 9, 10.
All right.
Around that age range. Both wearing dark hoodies, I would say. It was dark out, so I'm going to give you a good color range. But if I had to choose color, it'd probably be black or black grayish.
So something of a mute color.
Yeah. Anyway, so they said, excuse me, sir, we don't live around here. We're lost. Is there any way we can come into your home and use your phone to call our mom to get stuff? And I said, I don't think that would be a good idea. All parental figures in my house are asleep, and I don't think they would like me letting anyone in that I don't know, even if you are children. Come on, he said, sir, please, we're really scared, and it's kind of cold outside. He said, I really feel for you, I really do, and here's what I'll do. So I'll go grab my house phone, and I'll give it to you. You can call from the steps, or you can wait outside my house, and I'll get you something to eat or something to drink if you're hungry or thirsty. I can't let you in the house. As they're talking, right, they're like, sir, come on, please. and I noticed that my hand is moving. I look down at my hand, and my hand's moving to open the screen door.
Oh no, they had you.
Unconsciously. I'm not trying to do this. So I immediately put my hand back, and I guess the older one, the 14-year-old, noticed that I was becoming nervous because he said, "Mister, it's not like we have a gun or something."
Red flag.
And all this exchange is going on, the 8-year-old, 10-year-old one kid is just looking around like the lookout, like something's like going on, like he's trying to make sure no police are coming or something like that.
What did you feel in that moment? Like, did you question why they picked your house? Did you feel nervous?
Wondering what's going on, why a 14-year-old and a 10-year-old, or whatever age that one was, it looked like he was 10, but I couldn't tell. Are out at 10:45 p.m. and I mean, yeah, it's not. My street was safe. There wasn't a lot of crime, but like I lived in a neighborhood. But like it's still 10:45 p.m. and no one's out playing at 10:45. Like the most I know of people played in my neighborhood at the time was 9 o'clock, and at that point, most parents were like, "Okay, come inside. It's time to go to bed, or it's time to get ready for bed, or whatever."
Was this in the summer or the winter?
I would say it was between when winter was coming into. It was right before spring, but not spring yet, so it was still winter.
Okay, so it would still be where the sun goes down super quick. Guessing by your age, it was probably still one of those times where even though technology was advanced, not every kid had a cell phone. This was get your ass home when the streetlights were on rule still.
It was around, whenever I was 11, so that was around 2008.
Okay, yeah, so not every kid had a cell phone then. So
anyways,
they put you in a trance, or they tried to.
Yeah, they tried to put me in a trance, and I remember feeling a twinge of fear when they said it would have a gun, mister, because in some part of my brain it unraveled those words and changed them and said, "Mister, we don't need a gun to hurt you."
Well, luckily for you, your method, because if it had been anyone else, they might have fallen prey to that.
I just don't. The other thing is like, I'm wondering why they keep calling me a mister, because I'm like 11 years old. I'm not an adult. Like, I don't know why you're calling me a mister, sir, or mister.
Another red flag.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if I was in a fancy restaurant, maybe they would call me a mister, even if you're 11 years old, but like...
Yeah. So...
This is an exchange outside of a house.
So they got mad, he caught you...
They started to get mad, and I said, "I won't let you in my house. I told you what I will do for you. That's all that I can do." And at that point, the older one starts banging on the door and saying, "Mister, please let us in. We cannot come in unless you say it's okay.
Ooh.
Tell us it's okay to come into your home. Tell us it's okay to come into your home." I am still to this day surprised my grandmother did not wake up with the noise that was going on, because he was pounding on that door really hard.
You know what I wonder? Like, and obviously I don't know a lot about black-eyed kids, and this is me just really spitballing here, but I wonder if you were in, like, your own pocket dimension, where...
I'm going to get to that, because something strange did happen, okay?
Okay.
So, and he kept pounding on the door, and pounding on the door, and pounding on the door, and every time his lady said, "I'm not going to tell you it's okay, just stop pounding on my door, please." And I think I used the excuse, "I want to get back to my movie, please. Can I get back to my movie, please? I told you what I'll do. I'm not letting you in the house." Finally, after all attempts failed, they went to their last resort, which, at this point in time, mind you, while he was banging on the door, the 10-year-old had stopped looking around and started banging on the door too, and in unison asked to be let in.
That's so
They
weird.
were asking in unison to be let in. At this point, both of them decided, okay, they removed their hoods. And what I saw, I mean, it still haunts me. It was nothing but pure blindness where their eyes should be. They had no pupil, no sclera, nothing. It was just
Dark little voids?
into an endless void.
So nothing but an iris onyx of evil.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it sounds weird, and I think this was a weird thing to say to them at the time, but I wasn't lying. I screamed, "I'm not letting you in my house, and I have to go to the bathroom." And I slammed the door shut.
Hey, nothing like closing the conversation before it gets dangerous.
And the door shutting woke up my grandmother and said, "Why aren't you at the front door while it's open?" And I just looked at her and I said, "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." And my grandmother just went back to sleep. And I went to the bathroom, like I said I did. So when I walked out of the bathroom, I remember clearly that I looked at the clock, the old the old clocks on the fucking TV you had,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
VHSs,
Yeah.
and it read 11:45 p.m.
So they had spent an hour of your time.
Which conversation lasts maybe at a minimum 15 to 10 minutes. I was probably at that door, but it's about later than an hour. So I answered that door at 10:46.
Do you think they distorted time?
I think so.
I mean, because technically, even though that conversation was only 15 minutes, time is time is a concept. It's man-made, but it just makes me wonder: is it lost time, or were you in a pocket dimension, maybe, or time moved differently?
When I was putting a pocket dimension, that's how I think I was. So there's only other one person that can corroborate this story, part of it at least, of the kids being there. That was my next door neighbor and friend. His name is Reggie. He was Indian.
Okay.
He figured us at 11:47. 11:47. Walking out his window, and about to go to bed, and his window overlooked my driveway and a community mailbox. Okay, and he saw two boys around the same ages that I just, 14 to 10, 14-year-old and a 10-year-old, walked to our community mailbox, and then a fog rolled in, and they were gone.
Oh my God! So they didn't go to his house; they literally picked yours.
Yep.
Do you think they're after your newborn sister? Maybe.
I have no idea. Maybe. They do say babies and young children are sensitive to paranormal.
Yeah.
And sometimes paranormal entities will use that as a way to get in.
That is shockingly freaky.
You see them before that? Is that I saw two when I was playing video games on my TV. I looked at your house for a second, and I did see you talking to somebody at your front doorstep. And all I saw was the back of your backs. I didn't see what was going on.
So we never saw the eyes.
No. What he did say was he freaked out when they got to our mailbox. He waited for them to reemerge from the fog and into the other side, but it didn't. How does that happen? Like, how does you walk into a fog bank almost, but you still have to walk out and walk in past our mailbox to get out?
Yeah, what is this, Little Hope? Pretty much stared evil right in the face and lived. You should count your blessings, and because for all we know, you're a marked one. This may not be over.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't seen them since, but
I highly recommend, if you ever have kids, you pre-warn them to this, because it might be you, it might be your bloodline. For all we know, maybe your father dealt with something like this, and this is like generational.
My dad wouldn't tell me if he did or not.
That's what I'm saying. So do yourself a favor, if you have kids, pre-warn them.
I'm definitely going to do that.
Because that's scary, man. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there that can be scary, but just the thought of that. And what if they had gotten in? And even if they weren't black-eyed kids, let's just say they were kids who were out, like, teens in that developmental mindset can be the cruelest of their entire life.
If I let them in and they did something, there is a chance that we would have been fucked. Yeah,
I mean, for all you know, they could have robbed you, tied you up to a chair, and then lit the house on fire.
To be fair, though, literally 3 minutes after I got back onto the couch and started watching my show, my dad came home.
Too bad he didn't show up in the middle of that. Maybe he could have scared him off.
Yeah, well, I said, I'm just glad you're home. And he said, what happened? I said, nothing, I'm just glad you're home.
So do you think that is a legend that is strictly tied to the Illinois area?
No, that guy's been reported as far as California, to New Mexico, to England, to everywhere. There's not just one part of the world where they are show up. They show up anywhere they want, really. And it's basically, I feel like they pick you at random. Like you're praying, they're the hunter.
I have a theory on that. Were you doing anything mischievous before they showed up? Anything you shouldn't have been?
Not really. I mean, I asked my grandmother if I could stay up to watch the movie marathon. My mom didn't know about it because I didn't. She literally didn't care at the time. I mean, I was 11 years old, and I guess you could say these movies were meant for adults. So I'm not sure if that's considered mischievous or not.
Well, the only reason I ask is so I have a working theory that BEKs are drawn to children who radiate mischievous energies, such as the stuff that they radiate as well. Kind of like magnets, you're pulling them in. So
Yeah.
maybe if you were doing something you shouldn't have been, like flipping through an adult magazine, or you had stolen another snack after you were told not to, and again, staying up late, let's do it. But again, and I can't prove it, but my theory is that they live between reflections of mirrors, and they only come out when they hear, or when they sense somebody being mischievous like they are, and they prey on that.
I mean, like I said, I had permission to watch it. My grandmother, you know me, bumps. As I told before many times, I was a kid whose parents didn't care what I did. I was watching horror films at the age of 7, like radar films, horror films. It didn't really matter to them as long as I didn't. If I didn't keep them up in nightmares, they didn't care.
Okay, well, you may have unintentionally summoned them yourself. Just be glad you survived this horror story.
I am. I'm to this day. And I'm glad that in a way, I was able to protect my brother and sister and my family. I feel lucky that I was able to overpower whatever abilities they were trying to use on me.
Yeah, we obviously know they have, like, hypnotic suggestion. It almost... The whole having to be invited in, though, that rings old school vampires, so I don't know what that's about.
It did, and that's one thing I always, it ties me to. It's like, why do you need to be invited in?
Maybe they're the closest thing to real world vampires we have. Do you have anything else for the audience before we wrap this up?
Nah, I'm pretty good here.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I recommend that you lay down a line of salt on your front door before you go to bed tonight, and be sleep with one eye open. Cover those mirrors, and remember that 3 a.m. is the witching hour. I've been your host, Bumps in the Night, and these are Paranormal True Tales.